with 6 different styles of leadership, which are very practical, which we can use in different situations to get the best result out of every situation. Now, we have directive style of leadership, which we use when we are in war mode. We have visionary style of leadership to set a vision for corporate, for our social circle, or for our own personal life. We have affiliative style of leadership when a subordinate or when a colleague needs a hand on the shoulder. We have participative style of leadership when we are working with a set of people who are self-motivated and who are innovative and they just need freedom. And if you want to set a trend, if you want to set how things are to be done, we follow pace setting. And when someone is new and we really need to hold their hand and take them to the next level, we use coaching style of leadership. So we have 6 different style of leadership. We'll go in detail on each of these leadership with 6 different presenters. That's how I would like to conclude, and I would like to go back to Gomes for starting the session. Just relax, enjoy the 6 styles of leadership, enjoy the learnings, and we have breakout rooms after the presentation is over, and I'm sure you will have fun in the breakout rooms. On that note, I would like to go back to Gomes. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Gomes, back to you.
Thank you, Alok. Let's move on to the first style of leadership, which is the directive style of leadership. And I would hand over this to Nats, tech-savvy leader. Over to you, Nats. Nats, one moment.
Hi guys, good evening everyone. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Nats, go ahead.
Yes, Nats, go ahead.
Yeah. So today I'm going to talk about the directive leadership style, an example of which we just saw before we got into this call. Pankaj was saying that don't do this, don't do that, right? So that is a very good example of directive type of leadership. And all of us come to a stage in life where we need directions, right? So either we get stuck in our career, or we get stuck on the road, or somewhere we get stuck. We need someone who's directive to us. And as our coach Ian says, you have to first fit in and then stand out. So whenever you're new to a group or you're new to a company, so you just have to try to fit in. So when you're trying to fit in, you should be ready to take the directive leadership who will be directing you towards your goals. And also, if someone is new to you, you should be able to provide a directive leadership to them so that you can guide them properly, right? So that is the use of the directive leadership style. Yeah. So the movies we see and the music we hear are all the products of good directive leadership, right? So the music director directs his music troupe, and the film director directs his acting troupe and his all other teams, and he takes them through a path where they can produce a very good product at the end of it, and we all enjoy that particular music and that particular movie, right? So that is the whole definition of leadership, directive leadership, right? So if you want to know about the directive leadership, it is one of the most common styles, because most of the people like to give directions to other people, and they like to command them to do things. So directive leadership is a kind of most common style of leadership, and it is about specifically directing the activities of the team members. And you don't take their feedback, or you don't expect a response from them. You just want them to go in that particular path and complete their task within the time or the quality that you have prescribed, right? And then you don't let them decide how to do the work as well. So the directive leadership style, the leader who's following the directive leadership style, he doesn't care about what the team members think, right? So and this is mostly in the times when the team members are not able to think, either they are very new, very low skilled, or low motivated. So that's when we use the directive leadership, right? So what are the traits of a directive leader? So if you take the traits of a directive leader, like the name suggests, he always provides direction to the people. He always initiates a project. He always gives responsibility to their direct reports to complete the project, and they apply specific standards to the quality of work. So what does all this mean? What all this means is like they have set deadlines or defined tasks and the rules and the boundaries. So no one has any say in what they want to do, right? And it is all directed by the leader. So if you see all these traits, you follow it mostly in the military setting, like Alok said correctly, mostly in the war setting, right? So since directive leadership always directs people, and it is for and it is always mostly seen as a negative style of leadership. And nowadays, what we call this leaders and the managers. So we always say people who use directive leadership are all managers. So that is a common talk which we hear around, which could be wrong because there are places where directive leadership is being used extensively, right? So if you see with respect to people, right? So when do you use directive leadership with respect to people? When a person is having a low skill and low motivation. So low skill itself, they will not be able to work properly. And on top of that, they have low motivation. They will never be able to work. So at that time, you provide a direction to them. Just say them like, this is step A, this is step B, this is step C. Just do these steps. You will finish this work, right? So just do this work. So that is what is meant by. So that is how we use the directive leadership at low skill and low motivation level. So for a person who's either high skilled or highly motivated, even though the other one is low, you can just go for a less direction. So if a person has a low skill but is highly motivated, in the for the low skill you can just direct them. You go here and learn this, and then you can do this work. And after that they'll be able to do the work. But then you just supervise them like how they do the work, right? And if the person has low motivation and highly skilled, but they are not using their skills because they are low, they are not motivated, right? So at that point of time, you just direct them by saying that this is the part you have to do. You have to finish this, and that is where you spend your authority as well, right? Authority, and also you take control of the situation and tell them you have to do this, right? And if the person is highly skilled and highly motivated, obviously they don't need any direction. They will take their own direction and they will complete their work because they are already highly motivated, right? Uh, Yeah, so that is the respect to people. Even though with people, we see that in high skill and high motivated, you provide some autonomy. There are some situations where you cannot give them full autonomy. So one of the situation is the urgent situation, right? So you get some high priority issues that needs to be solved, right? Even though they are highly skilled and highly motivated, they may be just taking some time to do it. So at that point of time, you just step in and tell them this is urgent situation. Do this step A, step B, step C. You will be able to complete it. Just do it. Don't think about it, and then later on you discuss with them about it, right? So in urgent situation, you do a directive leadership, and when you need people to follow the rules. So when you're let us say the safety department or the safety or a person who is in charge of the safety department in your building, so they will need you to follow some rules, like don't use elevator during the fire, or always find the nearest fire exit. Always look at the map to find the nearest fire exit. So all these are just rules that you have to follow without thinking anything, right? So and also like when there are a lot of people, there is always takes more time when a lot of people get together to make a decision because each one may have different opinions, but you want to take a quick decision. Like I said, in the higher priority issue, solving it, there may be multiple ways, but you just need to solve it as soon as possible. So you just tell them, okay, this is what I think is right. You just do it, right? So that is when you use again directive leadership. Okay. So is directive leadership completely useless or completely, it's not without its advantages, right? So it provides a structure to unstructured thoughts because you are providing high direction. You give them step A, step B, step C, the standard operating procedure to work on, and even the unstructured tasks, you can make it a structured ones, right? So the safety and security we discussed in the last slide. So it's the same, right? And it also provides clarity within the role expectations. You just tell each one of the team member, you do this, you do this. So you do the build of the page, you do the testing of the page. We just clear the leader just clearly demarcates between the roles, right? And like we discussed, like I said earlier, it is very easy to learn, and it also reduces issues with demotivated workers. When people are demotivated, they are not able to think. You provide them with the steps to do the task, right? So, and of course, the directive leadership is not without its cons as well, right? So, if you want, if a worker want to take some initiative, it restricts him from taking the initiative because he just has to listen. And the same with the collaboration. Even though people want to contribute to the decision making, they will not be able to because the directive leader doesn't like it and he wants to take the decisions. And if it goes on for a long time, it reduces the overall morale of the team members as well. And what this does is for the leader for the leader also, the leader has to have more skills than the worker because he's providing all the steps. If someone gets stuck in a particular step, he should be in a position to provide them the clarity for going to the next step. So what it does is it becomes a burden for the leader as well, because they have to come in whenever facing issue, and it could be multiplied by the number of team members as well, right? So that is the reason it is a so that is why it is a burden for the supervisor as well, right? So to summarize what is directive leadership, so it could be used in special situations like urgency or higher priority issues. And it is, of course, a very short-term leadership style because it demotivates the people in the longer term if they are not allowed to contribute or collaborate with other team members. And it is also used in a team when a team member is relatively new to the process, and they are also less skilled, like when you take the interns or when you take a person directly from the college to work with you, they are all mostly less skilled in your technology. So they might require some directive leadership for them to move on from their current skill level. Yeah. So with this, we come to the end of directive leadership.
Yep. Thank you, Nath, for sharing your thoughts on the directive leadership, and you definitely did direct us on that with what directions we need to do. And moving on to the next topic, it's about visionary leadership. Let me introduce Raj, our thoughtful leader, to take us through this. Raj, over to you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So we come across many leaders like Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, or Steve Jobs. Okay, so all these leaders, like they have many features in common, but something that is uniquely common is their vision for the future. Visionary leaders imagine something that does not exist today yet, but that will someday in the future. Visionary leaders ask the questions that nobody has asked. They walk the path that nobody has thought about. And they dream about that something that nobody even think about. Visionary leaders always try to create positive impact to the lives of the societies, lives of the people, societies, organizations, and communities with a positive transformation. Once Steve Jobs quoted that when someone is excited about doing something that they care about, nobody need to push. The vision will pull you. So that's the power of the leadership, visionary leadership. Many of us associate visionary leadership or the vision to the top executives or the CEOs. So to be a visionary leader, do I need to be a CEO? No. Everybody can be a visionary leader in their own position, impacting the personal life or creating a positive impact to the societies, communities, or the organization that we are part of. From time to time, we get the chance to contribute to the creation of the vision for the organizations that we work for. So for us to be successful in giving a positive contribution and making that vision come true, we have to develop certain pride. Visionary leaders tend to be a strongly determined people to achieve their goal once their vision is clear and the vision and mission is clear. Visionary leaders are people-oriented. They touch the heart of the people and help them imagine or visualize their goals, dreams, and visions. They got to be creative and innovative in laying down their path to the goal. And they have to be caring and empowering the people to unite, to stay united and walk the common path, sharing the common goal. So what are the benefits of visionary style of leadership? Visionary style of leadership focuses on the purpose rather than the goal that is shared across with everyone on the journey. With the purpose in the mind, people are not really bothered about the temporary setbacks in achieving the shorter goals or the milestones in achieving their goal. Because the focus is always on the energy that people possess in their journey towards their vision or achieving their purpose. The visionary leaders are always with the team and they are the subject matter experts in their own areas, able to foresee the challenges that the team can possess and help the team in steering over the challenges. And considering that a vision creates a long path, visionaries value the innovation and creativity of the team, allows the team to take risks, reward their even the smallest achievements, celebrate that milestones, and ensure that the team is united throughout the journey. Being said that, visionaries, when we adopt a visionary style of leadership, we have to watch out for certain things. Given that vision creates a long-term goal or purpose, essentially, people tend to lose the sight of the immediate problems. Also, certain times, with the visionary style of leadership, people tend to get connected to the person rather than the purpose. Example, that we have seen that many a times there are great philosophers or leaders of missionaries created like a, I would say, wave in the people to create some transformation in the societies. But in that scenarios, we have seen that people cannot get connected too much, attached to the person rather than the philosophy, and the whole mission dies out once the leader passes out. Also that for many large organizations, vision is carried forward by implementing strategic changes, multiple strategic changes led by different leaders who are not really aligned to the vision, thereby the changes creating a gap in what their purpose that they were working for. Also, given that vision is about the long-term achievement, the team has to be continuously engaged and motivated to stick to the mission and stay accountable for that. In many organizations, we have seen that the vision is being communicated to the organization, whole organization, as a one-off hands-off meeting or one-off emails, and after that everybody forgets about it. So these are the things that we have to be watchful for when we are talking about vision and visionary leadership. A talk on the visionary leadership can't be complete without talking about one of the visionary leader who is among us, that is none other than Ian, who had the vision of transforming India by developing the leaders at the grassroots. And thank you, Ian, for giving us the opportunity to be part of your vision and be with you on this journey. Thank you. Over to you, Gomes.
Hey, thank you, Raj. That was really wonderful insights about the visions, right? Moving on to the next style of leadership, it's the affiliative style of leadership, and I would hand over the mic to Anu, our ever calm and composed leader. Over to you, Anu.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, Anu, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to present affiliative leadership style. Now, what is affiliative leadership style? Affiliative leadership style is one of the styles of emotional leadership. It promotes positivity, a harmonious workplace, and trust building in a team. It focuses on conflict resolution and creating personal bond between the employee and the employer. And definitely it builds a sense of community and trust among the workers. So affiliative leadership style, what are the advantages and characteristics of affiliative leadership style? Well, affiliative leadership's leaders, they are very strong on communication. They are honest, they are integrated, and they're not afraid to fail. Their team becomes a direct reflection of themselves, the employers. They are beacon or moral guidance that everyone can follow. So they are completely, entirely can be dependent on the leaders. They allow flexibility of work culture and arrangements to build trust. Primary focus is always on the positive feedback to create success among the team members. They are confident, they are assuring, they maintain a positive attitude within the team. They always embrace change, and they always are committed to produce consistent results throughout. Let's understand what are the advantages of affiliative leadership style. Well, as I mentioned, affiliative leaders are always willing to give positive feedbacks. This leadership style always promotes positivity and creativity and innovation among the team. And the first thing which is taken care of within the team is the well-being of the employees. That's a top priority of the leader. This style of leadership is favorable to employees. They always look forward to work with such kind of leaders who understand, who show sympathy and are sympathetic and empathetic towards their employees. Definitely, the levels of stress are reduced under this kind of leadership style. This leadership style can help people recover from difficult incidents. What are the disadvantages? The disadvantages are such leaders, they tend to avoid conflict. So sometimes it might reduce the team productivity levels. Those leaders can sometimes lose sight of the vision. Now, to add, unfortunately, mediocre performances may be fostered under an affiliative leadership style because it really puts any team member under pressure. So some team members may feel that can coast on certain work because their managers are always there to support them. This leadership style works best in stressful situations or when team members' morale is low. Typically, it's used best together with other leadership styles as well. In the end, I would like to point out that because of the warmness provided by the leaders, the members always feel safe and have a strong sense of belongingness towards the organization. They always tend to perform better. Google has done studies on effective managers and found that number one thing they provide is the psychological net and the psychological safety among the leaders within the team. Another leader, Dalai Lama, the leader of the newest school of Tibetan Buddhism, is a different type of great leader. Dalai Lama is an affiliative leader. He led the team with following leadership traits, that is, gaining love and support by believing in kindness, compassion, empowerment, and forgiving nature. Well, thank you very much. That's the end of my topic.
Thank you, Anu. Thanks a lot for walking through us on the wonderful. I'm sorry. Okay. On the affiliative style of leadership, and moving on to the next one, it is the participative style of leadership, who I will hand over the mic to the most passionate person, Aparna. Over to you.
Anu, can you stop the screen share?
I need to, yes. Have I? You can check.
Thank you, Anu.
Welcome.
Thank you, Gomes, for that lovely introduction. Sorry about those technical glitches. Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my session on the participative leadership. Participative, the word only tells us a lot, right? That means that the team and the leader work together, right? Do any of you recognize this person? You can even type out on the chat window. No, Pankaj, it's not Chaplin. Another 10 seconds. Yes, Vinod, there you go. It is Walt Disney, from Mickey Mouse to Donald Duck, to Chip and Dale, to I don't know what not, maybe Snow White, anyone, right? So here's presenting our Walt Disney. And Walt Disney quoted, "Whatever we accomplish belongs to our entire group, a tribute to our combined effort." So here is one of our most famous participative leaders. And Walt Disney, here I would just like to narrate a small story. After the success of Snow White, Walt Disney wanted to make an entire theme park in California. He went around the entire country looking for different kind of skilled workers and different kinds so that he can build a team. And guess what? He built a team of 700 people. Why did he do this? He did this because he believed in the fact that a team is the most crucial and critical part of any process or any decision making. So moving on from this participative leader, I would like to just share what is participative leadership. It is known to be one of the most effective styles of leadership, where a leader acts as a guide or a mentor, helping the team to achieve all their goals. And how does this kind of a leader do it? He does it by considering everybody's decision, and he puts his team at the utmost priority before any kind of decision making. What is it in for the team? The team feels very, very motivated. They feel engaged, and they also feel that they're a very integral part of the team and they feel valued for it. How does this actually work? So whenever a leader, a participative leader, comes across a situation, he facilitates a conversation and puts across the problem. And the entire team shares their knowledge, their information very openly, because this is a very safety net. And the leader gives that much trust so that anybody can share. Following on, there is a lot of cross-pollination, which the leader is very acceptful of, and he encourages out-of-the-box thinking. Later, the team and the leader together synthesize all the information and then take the best decision possible for that particular solution, for that particular problem. And also communicates this decision that the leader has taken to the entire team and ensures that there's a consensus. Well, that's so thoughtful, right? Moving on, we know that participative leadership is a style. But even in participative leadership, there are many decision-making styles, right from something like the collective leadership to the autocratic leadership. What is collective leadership? Collective leadership means where the team and the leader take joint decisions. And democratic leadership is that kind of decision-making style where the team plays a higher role in decision-making than the leader. And a consensus leadership style or decision-making style is something where a vote is taken, and between the leader and the team, there is a common consensus that's arrived to, and then the decision is taken. Last but not the least, we have the autocratic style of leadership, where in any kind of urgent or emergency situations, or if the leader feels that he needs to take a decision, he will still consult his entire team, but he retains the entire power of taking the decision to him. So after we have learned about these different decision-making styles, let's see what are the benefits of this style of leadership. This brings us to there is a big plethora of freedom and safety in this kind of decision-making. It encourages a lot of collaboration. There is a lot of out-of-the-box thinking because there is free flow of ideas, and the leader trusts the team that the team is going to definitely deliver and perform a good job. There's a lot of employee commitment because the team feels the value and they feel that they're a very integral part of the decision making and the entire process of any situation or anything that happens in any organization. In this VUCA world, this kind of leadership style will help in the ease of implementing any kind of change, and it enhances the management and teamwork. Over here, I would just like to bring an example of our Team Inspire at Tilt. Our leaders, John and Alok, have ensured right from the beginning that the decision making is in the hands of the team. So they have practically showed that the entire term was very much participative. So thanks to you both, Alok and John. So before I conclude, I would like to leave you all with a quote of Mary D. Paul. Leadership should be more participative than directive, more enabling than performing. Thank you. Over to you, Gomes.
Thank you, Aparna, for that wonderful session. We will move on to the next one, which is the pace-setting leadership style. And I will hand over the mic to the most compassionate person, Rupa. Over to you. Rupa, you're talking on mute.
Thank you, Gomes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rupa. I'm going to talk about pace-setting leadership. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Well, so we might have heard about leadership quote. Any leader whose actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, or to become more, that they are a real leader. I can easily correlate this coach or pace setting leader. The reason being, he leads by an example. And why did I say this leader lead by an example? As this leader always sets high standards and high targets within the time constraints. And after setting the standards along with his whole team, including the leader, puts effort to reach that high standards. And this leader is obsessive about doing things better and faster and asks the same from everyone in his team. And this leader also continuously pressure on the team to achieve the high standards on his own time. And he quickly identifies the poor performers and asks for improvement. And if there is no improvement on the performance, he will immediately replace the people for more capable. Now let's see when this is best to be used. Okay, when we have a team who is very ambitious and highly motivated, and the team who are really competitive and highly determined to succeed, it's best to be used when we have high targets and as well as there is very limited time to deliver the vital results. And it's very important to achieve when there is a close deadline. Pace setting leadership is a powerful way to drive employee initiatives in modern workplaces or in the startup companies, to help the team to push through demanding deadlines. And once the results are achieved, the leaders and the team will be considered as the benchmarkers or the trendsetters. So that's why I call this leader as a lead by an example. Well, this leadership style also has some merits and demerits. Let's look at the merits. Okay, some of the benefits of this leadership style. Business goals are quickly achieved, sometimes even ahead of the schedule, which will benefit the organization and the growth perspective. And setting the priority of work to achieve results will definitely save the time. And there will be a high energy group with outstanding performance in terms of accomplishing the task as well as the quality of work itself. Well, we also have few demerits because of the deadlines and the high standards. Sometimes employees can also feel stressed or demotivated and work becomes very repetitive and boring. And this may also feel, exhaustive on the continuous time and target pressure. This will lead to see some dip in their team's performance, and it might also end up in losing, people from organization. Overall, these leaders who drives organization for highly targets and better results, they know how to manage stress and time. Also, they are good at following up to get the things done. And these leaders are highly capable to motivate others to deliver results on time. Overall, this can be used as a short-term leadership style, which is most effective in situations needing a quick action or to set an example. With this, I just wanted to quote my own, experience. I worked with a leader who is a pace setter, and before also I worked a few years back with him, and I found him as a coaching, leadership style. But very recently I came across, especially in the pandemic situation of COVID, when our project went live during March, when we all virtually took a training, then went live with the production. He actually set a high standards, targets, which made us feel that very stressful, and is not so empathetic. And few of our colleagues also decided to move out of the team or move out of the organization. But definitely, what he made us to bring out, we wouldn't have aware of that potential what we had within us, and what our project gave a good results. It made us to believe within ourselves. So with this note, I'm going to hand it over to the most inspiring lead in our team, and I personally admire his communication and presentation skills. That's none other than Gomes. Over to you, Gomes. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rupa, for that wonderful session. Aparna, Rupa, could you please stop sharing the screen so that Aparna can bring up the screen? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Aparna. Once again, a good evening to everyone. We're going to discuss about the coaching leadership. I'm going to move to the next slide. Okay, so when somebody talks about the word coach, everybody, what's a thought comes to everybody's mind, right? The coach who does a basketball coaching team, or the person who does the coaching for the cricket team. That's a word everybody would recollect, right? And it is definitely the right thing, and it is very synonymous with the word coaching leadership in the corporate world as well. And this word coach comes from the Hungary, a village in Hungary, which is called Cox, where they were using coaches, transport coaches, to move people from one place to another. And similarly, a coach is the word which is used, or it's a coaching person is the person who moves people from where they are to the place where they want to be. In this rapidly changing world, you cannot expect a leader to have answers for every question, a solution for every issue. And that is where coaching plays a major role. As a coach, you would be able to guide and support the team to derive those solutions. Sir John Whitmore had quoted this one. I wanted to use this quote here: unlocking people's potential to maximize their own performance. This is true with a coaching leadership, a leader who has a coaching style of leadership, especially not only unlocking the potential of this employee, the person under him, but also when it making him, utilize those potentials to reach his goals as well. So this particular style of leadership delivers better engagement, and it allows you to come up with a lot of bottom line results. And this brings in a lot of organizational change, which is a very positive thing to the company. Aparna, moving on to the next slide. Could you move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. So you have to remember, coaching is an art. A coaching leadership style develops people for the future, allows them to try different things, and develop others, which allows them to empower the others, right? Get them empowered. So the critical characteristics of a coaching style of leadership, what are those? Instead of one brain driving the show, the coaching leadership allows you to connect different minds together as a whole team and deliver outstanding performance as a collective thing. It stimulates growth and innovation by challenging the people. It's a long-term benefit. It brings in long-term benefits, and it supersedes the short-term benefits that it might not bring in. It challenges the blind spots and biases with people. It provides, the main characteristics of a coach is to provide positive feedback. And the most important thing for a coach is that the coach understands the best answer is inside the coachee's head. So he helps the coachee to dig in more, find out the solution for himself. Moving on, Aparna, to the next slide, please. Thank you. This is the GROW model. This was conceptualized by Sir John Whitmore and Alexander Graham. These two guys in the late 1980s devised this very practical framework, which is called the GROW model. I'm sure you guys would have heard about it, but just want me to dig in a little bit more on this, right? So G stands for goal and aspirations. R stands for reality, which is your current situation and your obstacles that we have, internal or external. And O stands for options, possibilities, your strengths and resources. What do you have at your hand? And W stands for the will, actions and accountability. if I have to just take a quick minute in trying to explain what type of framework this actually, the various questions you could ask as a coach, right? There are different levels of goals depending on how far you want to look into the future, right? And you have to ask the people the question, what are you looking to achieve? What do you want? What do you want to get out of this meeting? And you might even ask them the question, what's the bigger picture that you're looking at? By doing this, you can set up a key goal which will be inspiring and challenging and just not specific and measurable. Moving on to the next format, right? The next framework, which is the reality. You can ask these kind of questions, right? What is the current situation? What qualities or resources do you think you need to have to help you achieve these goals? What are your internal and external obstacles? So by asking these questions, the coachee can come up with the answers which can help him to understand what's the current situation he is in to help him achieve the goal. The next thing is about the options. Explore the options that are in front of you, right? You can ask this question, how would you want to tackle this particular problem, this particular issue, if you feel that the time is not a factor here? You have enough time in your hand. The more you try to be imaginative with your questions, the more you make the individual to think and come up with this insight, right? And you can even ask him a probing and open-ended question. What else could you think we could do here, right? Moving on to the next one. The next step is the will. You need to agree on specific actions and timeframes, and you need to set accountability. So what could you ask? What will you do now? When will you be able to do it? How committed are you to complete this achievement? And please rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. So these are the questions which will help you gain how much willingness this particular person has to achieve those goals that he himself has set for him. Please remember, performance is the potential minus the interference. And this particular coaching framework need not be used when you're setting the goals. It can be used anywhere in your conversations, in your meetings, everyday life. So please remember that it's a very practical tool devised by Sir John Whitmore. Up on the next slide, please. Okay, moving on. The pros and cons of this particular type of leadership. This particular leadership brings in a competitive advantage to the overall business, the organization. It drives continuous improvement. It brings in more accountability with respect to the employees. And it brings in an environment where your feedbacks will be considered very constructive, and they know that they have somebody to support those when they fall. And the most important thing, you can convert the weakness into strength. And the last but not least, people always love to work with leaders who are coaches. Coming on to the cons, right? This is not applicable for people who are just new to the job, new to the corporate world, or new to any role, right? And this coaching is a two-way street, right? You need the coach and the coachee to understand that you have to come to an agreement. Whatever being said and done, it's taken in the positive manner. If there is a negative attitude with the coachee, you cannot make progress. And this may not work where people are more resistant to changes as well. And the most challenging situation would be the short-term setbacks that we may face. Up on the next slide. So with that, I would like to leave you guys with the things to remember about the coaching leadership. Remember, the modus operandi is develop people for the future. And the style that will be used here is try this, try that, and not do this, do that, which is directive. This is going to be the future, and there are many, I know pretty sure that they have already started, many corporates have started ensuring that the leaders are real coaches. And this leaves a very positive impact on the climate and the culture of an organization. This is most suited for long-term goals. And finally, with leaving you guys with a quote, you get the best effort from others, not by just lighting a fire beneath them, but by building the fire within, by Bob Nelson. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. I think we would move on to the activity phase. Aparna, could you go on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So we're going to go into this activity. This is going to be an activity for 10 minutes. You guys would be split into small teams, and each team would get a set of case studies to read and reflect on what you think about those case studies. At the end of the 10th minute, you would be brought back to the main room, and you guys have to ensure you nominate a person on your behalf to talk on behalf of the team, right? And we would allow each the person nominated to talk about one case study. And Aparna, can we just make the breakout rooms? Can we just get on to the breakout rooms? And before that, I'm sorry, Aparna, any questions from anybody on the instructions of this activity? I hope it's a straightforward one, but still.
It sounds good, Gomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Pankaj. Yeah, we are moving into the breakout rooms.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, Gomes, Sukesh.
Hey, Sukesh. Good evening.
Hey, so only we two are in the
I'm
room?
wondering what happened. Yes, I think we two are only persons in this one. Maybe I'll just check if what's happening with the other rooms. Maybe they are just still joining. They have to click on join maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that's the reason. One moment. I'm just trying to check one moment.
So you are managing the breakout and on? I mean,
No, Aparna is managing. I'm the co-host. I think there are multiple people yet to join, like Vengat, Philo, Shobana. They have not joined yet.
so you can see who are in our room?
Yes, I'm able to see them. Yeah,
Okay.
Philo, Shobana, Venkat. Let me do one thing. Let me see if I can get their attention.
Is it, if you have to, are we supposed to admit those guys or?
No. They just click on join like you did. I'm sorry about this.
No issues.
And I just have to share the case studies as well. So I just pasted that message to them, but I will be back.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. In case we don't find anybody here, I think Venkat has joined. Hey, Venkat.
Hey, Gomes.
Hey, thanks for joining, Venkat. We have Sukesh here, and I just pasted the case. There are 6 case studies that we would like to reflect on. So I'm just pasting them in the chat. Please let me know, Sukesh and Venkat, please let me know if you got the questions.
Where should
in the
we?
chat, please.
The chat, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will let me know if you got it. Then I will just go and give the other guys the questions and come back.
We're able to see that.
Oh, fantastic! I'll be back. Hey, sorry guys.
All the ladies are all gaga, Ian. So
all Gomes. Anchor is there.
Hey, hello. I'm sorry. We had a technical difficulty. People did not join the team room, so we had to get their attention. I'm just gonna paste the case studies in the chat window.
Oh, you're going to put it in the chat window. Okay.
Yes. So there are 6 case studies. So
We can choose one, is it?
no. Please go through all 6. We have a 10-minute time frame, so it should be good enough. And let us know at the end of, we would select one question, right? So one question per team, one case study per team to represent. But when you're trying to go through it, please go through all 6. You might not be sure which one you might end up there, right? So I'm sorry, I just have to move to another room to give them the questions. I'll just leave that.
Has anybody seen the questions? I have
It's
not.
in the
No,
chat.
it's no, Gomes. It's not here.
We are not able to see anything.
One moment. Anats, can I share it with you? Could you share it with everybody, if you don't mind?
Yeah, you can do that.
1 minute. Let me try one more time. If not, I will do this. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Yeah, we got it now.
Business major.
We got 3.
Yeah, 3 more?
Yes, it's come.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll join back.
Oh God.
Thank you, Gomes.
Thank you, Gomes.
Thank you.
Hey, sorry about the delay. Sorry.
Gomes, I just pasted it.
We had some difficulties, Aparna. One of the team room, we had only one joining there along with me. So Venkat joined back. So a couple of them did not join. So I'm just going to go back there.
Okay, yeah, sure, Gomes, you can go back. I can stay here because the other rooms have enough number of people. Okay. Sorry for that little bit of technical thing. So I was just saying that there are 6 case studies and we should analyze each one of them and discuss what kind of leadership style it could be. Am I clear?
Sorry.
Hi, Gomes.
I'm back here. So hope it's clear, right, Venkat and Sukesh?
Yeah, so I think we are supposed to tell which is the leadership style for each of those.
Correct.
Okay, so
and one of the nominated person from this team will go out and explain why you feel that, justify, right? Why you feel that this particular style is the one you're selecting.
So the first one, I feel it is directive.
I'm sorry, Sukesh. Do you let me see if I can move you to another room. I think only you and Venkat, right? Philo is also there.
Yeah, if you can move, yeah, that will be good.
I'm not sure if I can do that now. I don't think so, Sukesh. I'm sorry. I don't think so I can do that. Yeah, go ahead. Let's go ahead and discuss. Philo, would you be able to do this? I'm just going to go to another room and come back.
Third one is coaching, and this one is affiliative.
John,
so in the third one, actually, he's telling them, he's advising them what to do, what not to do. So he's sort of coaching them.
Hello, I thought you're not going to let out the secrets out. I think you're already letting the secrets out. This is too bad.
We are there here, Gomes.
Only there are only 2 members, Gomes. So we
Yeah,
can't do. We have
Aparna should have mixed and matched.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there is another room where we have only Venkat and Sukesh.
you could have put them with us.
No, I'm just trying. I don't know how to do that.
Kavita will finish this. Gomes will finish this.
He is one of the pioneers of forced ranking. Jack rewarded his top 20% performers highly and let go of the bottom 10%. This created high intensity across the
decision-making process. I love it. I like it.
He's one of the pioneers. Last one also completed.
Last one is Sorish.
Last one is charismatic leadership.
No, we have to put the right style there.
Saurish, I don't think you attended the session at all.
I think it's a pace setting. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Pace setting. Okay, Rupa, you are from the same team. Why don't you give us clues, please? I think.
Oh, we have a moderator, is it?
To be honest, I'm having bandwidth issues, so I'm moving in and out of calls.
No, Vinod, just to check on that, we don't do all these kind of malpractices. That's the reason I just checked in and I just got you.
Oh yeah, thank you very much, man.
Sorry, just
You are the
checking.
whistleblower. You are the whistleblower.
Yeah.
Virtual whistleblower.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Gomes,
that was Gomes.
Okay.
So our nominee is ready, which is Saurish.
Okay.
No,
blast it.
Not me today, guys. Seriously, not me today. I'm having a very bad bandwidth.
Soumya.
Let Soumya go ahead. Because
Please, hey, Vinod, I called it dips the first one.
The moment I saw Saurish, I put Saurish.
Saurish, please, Saurish. Go ahead, Saurish, please.
Soumya, I'll tell you why. No, seriously, I'm having bandwidth issues.
That's okay. That's okay.
I can hear one lady's voice. Somebody else was there. Who's there?
There is no lady's voice in my room, at least.
No, none of.
I'm actually. Lady's voice in my room is yours right now.
Vinod, please do it. No, Vinod, please.
Saurish will do it. I forgot.
Vinod. I'm too tired. Normally, I won't back out. Yeah. Every time in this breakout rooms and all, I represent. But today, I called it tips fast.
I'm tired. That is why I called out.
Saurish, you have no choice, Saurish, today.
I'll tell you what, guys, I've seriously not been able to focus entirely on questions because of my bandwidth. Like I said, I don't want to put in something which is not there.
Then we will have to tell that we are all going to tell. Because we have to help take, we have to be a participative nominees now.
Super.
Yeah. Let's all of us take one. It's only 4, right? 4 or what?
6 are there. No,
Six are
totally,
there,
totally 6.
So Soumya takes 3. I take 1. Vinod, you take 1, and Saikat, you also take 1.
This is very unfair. Soumya doesn't take so many. She'll take only 1.
Yeah, so let's write it down first. Can somebody at least hold on?
Why don't you write somewhere so that I can?
Sorry, you're spending so much time in distribution. I'm working, man. That's why I'm in a call. If my name is called out, I have to jump onto it. That's how.
No problem. Okay, the first one is what?
You do it, yeah.
First one is what?
We said directive.
Directive, right? Okay. Second one?
But now you have to read that again, boss.
You wanted to just assign it.
Participative.
Participative, okay. So at least somebody help me with the names, na? I'll go ahead. Come on.
I think Rupa, you wrote down? Rupa?
Yes, I wrote it down.
Okay, can you please help us? Oh, great, thanks.
Yeah, first one is directive.
Okay.
Second one is participative.
Okay.
Third one is space setting.
Space setting, okay.
Fourth one is visionary.
Fourth one is visionary.
But coaching, you don't retain the decision making, right?
Oh, Raj, you're helping people. Got you.
You're there.
Sorry. I'm just trying to check.
He has been a very strict trainer, okay? Gomes has been very strict.
No fixing going on, Gomes. Absolutely no. He just said that after COVID we'll meet and we'll share a few drinks. That's all. Nothing more than that.
Yeah. So third is coaching. Okay.
So you're very positive that it's going to end, right? Good.
Yeah. So Pankaj, make a note. Third is coaching.
Third is coaching. Okay.
Hey, we just have 1 more minute. I just wanted to let you guys know. So
yeah, we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Gomes. And you are amazing.
Hey, thank you, Pankaj.
Yeah. Really amazing presentation, Gomes.
Hey, thank you, Sam. Thank you.
I think a business major is leading a team of research scientists working on new ways. Team is very innovative and always comes forward for.
Come on, Rupal.
Shall I read now?
Which one is missing?
Coaching is missing. Coaching.
Okay. Let's review.
Where?
You should be able to tell, man.
Yeah, I was also going through it.
See, I think the third one should be a coaching then.
Exactly. This is what even I felt.
Advises them on the potential
scenarios. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
I strongly feel you need to have a combination of leadership styles, and the success happens only when
the right style at the right time.
Absolutely, you use the right kind of style in the right situation.
Right. And even here we have seen, right? Like ENs we have seen, right?
Sometimes he seems directive, and the next moment he just switches on to a different mode. So that's how it is.
I think many people have joined.
Yes, guys, we are closing the rooms in a minute.
Closing a room, but I think we have not finished.
No worries, no worries, no worries. So
but we have some viewpoints that probably Venkat or Mr. can talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, I just joined in. I had to take a short break.
Yeah, Shona, you were able to see the chat window where the case studies.
No, I missed the whole thing.
Okay, are you able to read now?
I don't
chat,
know.
go to chat.
No, we'll have to put that again. I just pasted the last one. Let me put the other one because people who join in later won't be able to see that.
Oh, okay.
Who's Mahima? I can hear
Mahima
you.
has, she's just joined. So we are good to go. And
The first one is also directive, no?
Yes,
Ashwini, we said the
we
first
have
is
two
also
directives and two
Two
participative.
participative, no coaching.
Yeah, no coaching. Gomes, just want to confirm that we are just we have to tell what are the leadership styles, right? In the
and explain. I mean, provide justifications to why you chose that, right? Why you want to stick on to one style of leadership or maybe multiple, whatever.
So, are you going to give each breakout room so much time to come and speak about all the 6 styles, or it's going to be one? You're going to randomly pick and then.
Random. I mean, the questions will be random, but each team gets an opportunity to talk about one case study.
Okay, all right. Archie, in that case, Archie and Sandy, please support me and please pitch in wherever it.
Hi, Kavita.
Enjoy the breakout.
Hi, everyone. Yeah.
We applied
Hi.
we applied all the 6 styles there right away.
Right away. Who gave the answers? You or Narahari?
No, we don't
Pankaj.
have.
Pankaj will give.
Oh, Pankaj. Pankaj is
Aparna, can I go ahead?
because he's had a couple of drinks also. You can't stop him. He can
Yes,
come up
yes.
Saurish is our
star. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just waiting to ensure everybody are back here.
I hope everybody is back and has rejoined the main session.
Oh, yes.
I think after somebody dropped up also.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Team 1, who's going to be the person who's going to talk about? First team.
I am high on ice cream. I'm talking.
Okay, cool.
So, okay, 1 second, Gomes. Just sharing my screen. Kavita, you will have to talk about the case study that you see on the screen now.
Participative.
Oh, that's the right answer.
That was quick.
Okay, and this is my kind of leadership, so I actually resonate with her because this is something I would do if I had to, achieve a certain task, get inputs from people and then see which works, which doesn't work, and then put it together. And that way you also have the buy-in of the people that you're working with, and they're always going to have your back. So it's a beautiful way of, a beautiful style of leadership. Thank you for this question because this is something I identify with.
Thank you, Kavita. Kavita, do you want to share any few takeaways from this particular style of leadership, participative leadership?
Kavita, we mean like an example or some situation that you exhibited participative style of leadership.
I think just the way we have all worked together in the last 2 weeks, right? The idea was born a month ago. I put it up on the leaders group. I said I wanted inputs from everyone. And, look what has happened in the last 2 weeks. It's all been participative leadership. Everything that we have done, we have worked together as a team. We've collaborated. And yes, sometimes we've had some ideas which are clashing, we've taken them off, but the end result has been magic, has been success. So this is exactly what we do in Tilt. Perfect style of leadership that we have. That's what I have to say. That's how I have used it in the last 2 weeks.
Thank you, Kavita.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Kavita.
Thanks.
And can we move on to team 2? Team 2, who's going to talk?
Where is the presenter? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, team 2. We are that one.
You're from
Sorry,
team 2. I don't
sorry,
mind.
story mat banao, sirf answer de.
This is visionary.
Okay, Saurish, why do you think it's visionary?
Because he's thinking about world free from poverty concept into something tangible and practical for his team. So he's taking a thing which is a concept and trying to create meaning and reality for his members. And he's brainstorming it. So yeah.
Thank you, Saurish. But like we all know, Ian is one of our visionary leaders amongst us. Saurish, from your experience, would you like to quote someone else or explain some example, some situation that you've also met some visionary leaders in your path of your experience?
Okay, let's take an example from Tilt itself. If I were to look at the trio of say a Kavita or a Saikat or even a Venkat for that matter. Now Venkat is doing a lot of work with NASSCOM. Things has to be put in a little bit of a vision before it's put into implementation. So he's the guy who's responsible for taking a vision of NASSCOM of India taking it to the next level, and he has to implement it. So he takes in with his team and makes it happen. From a Tilt perspective, if I were to look at it, though Kavita, I'm slightly reducing the scope here, but if I look at how Kavita handles it, she always has these ideas which are very high up, an eagle's point of view of things happening. Most of the time as leaders, we are not able to connect the dots without her showing us the bigger picture, be it understanding of a project or handling of people in the community. It requires that amount of vision to say, this is what we want to do for the tribe. And if I were to take an example of Saikat, for the last term that he had been a leader for leader, some of the concept of him driving the community from where it was, say, 2 years back to today, and then we have Sam taking over, it was definitely a huge move from what we used to what we are today. So this would be my, because you took away Ian's name already, so I had to come up with the next 3 visionaries in Tilt in that manner, if you were to ask me. And of course, each one of the leaders have a vision. I mean, if you have to look at the tenets, when we started off, we were given no kind of an understanding of what each tenet should mean. But yet we took it, saw it together and pulled it through. And we are ending our 2nd term and stronger as ever. So, yep.
Thank you so much, Saurish, that coming from a leader of authentic articulation was, as usual, very authentic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So
Gomes, over to you.
Yep. Who is going to talk from team 3?
Yeah, hi Gomes, it's me.
Oh, Pankaj, this is your question. This is the case study that we want you to reflect on.
It's the pace setter.
The pace setting?
Mm-hmm.
That's the right answer. Could you please justify why you feel that pace setter is the right leadership style here?
So if it talks about where 20% performers are highly and they let go of the bottom 10, so you're already setting up the pace over there, and then this is creating quite a high intensity across the board at GE, and obviously getting everybody involved in doing the job. So he's setting the pace and then getting everybody together. So that's why we thought it is a pace setter. And thank you for telling me that it's the right answer.
Pankaj, we know that you have a vast experience. So have you come across any pace setters in your as part of your management? And if so, can you share some examples?
The one name that comes immediately to my mind is Murli Sundaraju. So he was my manager in IBM. And he was so good at doing this that set the pace right at the start of the quarter or maybe at the month. And this is what we're going to achieve. But then not be left behind as well. He would be like with everybody together, encouraging everybody else. But then he would tell us, okay, what do we need to achieve? Setting up the pace with some great motivational talks. So yeah, that's one example that immediately comes to my mind from a corporate setup. And when it comes to Tilt, look at Kavita for the last 2 weeks, what she's done. She set the pace so well. And these are the things that we need to do. And everybody rallied together around her. Yes, we need to make this happen. So yeah, so everybody, she set the pace and everybody then participates, become affiliative. We get a little bit of direction from here and there. So it's like a combination of all of them together. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Use your name also.
Sorry?
I said you can use your example also. That's fine. Self-nomination is also okay.
Savarish, this is not your session. It is theirs.
Aparna, go ahead, please. Mute everybody.
No, John. Okay, thank you so much, Pankaj. I think that was really cool. Your examples was really nice. And having worked with Murli and the pace setting, I totally get it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Over to you,
Thank you. Thank you. Who's going to represent from Team 4? Team 4?
I can. Anjana here.
Hey, Anjana. This is the case study that you need to reflect on.
I was very confused after seeing this, whether it was affiliative or pace setting. So.
Okay.
He helped the team to build a project plan, advises them on potential scenarios. Then they should watch out for and how to deal with them. So there is a bit of everything out here.
Yeah, something stands out. You might want to revisit this again. Something, a particular word can help you, give you the clue, which stands out.
Directive.
Okay.
He tells them to get it up and going while he completes the budget, so a little.
Yeah, directive could be something like do this and this is what is going to happen, right? Something of instructions. But here, even though the instructions are coming in, he's not telling what is the way you need to proceed further, right? It's like the word advisors. If you look at the word advisors, it's more advising on what path to follow. So,
same pace set only? Is it same pace set?
No, it should be the coaching style of leadership.
Okay, yeah. So yeah.
No worries. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Anjana. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm not very familiar with this kind of this thing.
No
so
problem.
I was just trying to relate to what can be, a coaching style of leadership. So it's more to do with a team that doesn't know much, but leader kind of decides what the team should do. A very unlikely scenario. Maybe more from an erstwhile setup than a current scenario, I would say. So which is probably the reason I was not able to relate to it much.
But I would like to just pitch in, Gomes, a few seconds. Anjana, I think you actually were bang on when you said there is a mix of all the styles of leadership. Coach is one thing where all the other styles of leadership is embedded inside of coaching. Until and unless all those other styles are practically followed, a coach cannot become a coach. So I think you are actually bang on the way you thought and you implemented. Probably you were not sure. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And I was just telling the team also earlier that it's basically while you're into a leadership role and handling a team and with diverse kind of circumstances coming in, you just don't really fall into a straitjacketed approach. It's a mix of everything that comes in, and a situational one is what. And in that situation, it doesn't have to be the leader who takes the leadership path.
It can be anybody who is an expert in that. So, and that's the kind of leadership that is happening right now, with a lot of terminologies like servant leadership and leading from, behind kind of a leadership, that kind of scenario is what is emerging in current world, to be very frank. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Anjana. We'll move on to the next team, Team 5, who is going to speak. Team 5. Okay. Okay, let's move on to Team 6.
Okay. This is Ashwini.
Yeah, Ashwini.
I think in this particular case studies, we feel that it is directive leadership because the reason is though the team is very innovative and they come and share the ideas and on the project, but the final decision-making authority is left to the business manager. So I feel that this could be a case of directive leadership.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Ashwini. That's the right answer. I mean, not the right answer. That's what we also derived at. And would you be able to reflect few thoughts about the directive leadership? What you feel that it could be used to our advantage?
I can relate to my own industry where it's related to construction, and this kind of leadership does play a major role because at the end of the day, you will be as an engineer or as a project manager. At the end of the day, you'll be dealing with the workforce and who need directions, and you need to give them instructions that this is what or this is the methodology that they have to follow to execute the work. So there, the final call, and of course, being a directive leader also requires to think on the feet and take that decisions at that moment. So I would be relating that in my profession. Go.
Thank you, Ashwini. So with that, we will end this activity session, and we will move on to the next part of our agenda, where I would like to hand it over to hand it over to John. We have learned a lot of leadership from him, and this particular activity of learning different styles of leadership is his brainchild, right? We did the book reviews and a lot of things. So over to you, John, to take forward.
Thank you, Gomes. Thank you for the wonderful session. Thank you, team, for being so participative and doing this, bringing out this, really brainstorming session. So, if you see some of the greatest and the most successful leaders in the history of the world, or in the recent times, either it can be in the spiritual world or the social world or the corporate world. These are the leaders who have mastered 4 styles or above in this leadership style. That is a case study done by a prominent university. The reason is they knew how and when to use this situational style of leadership. I remember, I repeat, situational kind of leadership across, whenever they came across different situations and circumstances in their journey of leadership. And today, being October 2nd, as we all Indians are celebrating the birthday of our great leader, Mahatma Gandhi ji, who was not only a great leader, but he was also known as a leader for leaders in the history. The reason why he is known as the leaders for leaders is that he not only led the country standing in front, but he also created leaders to fulfill his mission of bringing freedom for the country. So now what more can we ask the universe, which has gifted us graciously a great leader like Mahatma Gandhi ji, and also great leaders from the past, who is not only leading, who has also got a vision for us, and who is also not only leading us from the front, but he is also creating leaders to fulfill that vision of making India #1. So I take this privilege I take this opportunity and I would like to present a small token of gratitude to Ian. Over to you, Grooms, on behalf of all my fellow leaders. Over to you, Grooms.
Yep. Thank you, John.
Hi, Ian.
Hi.
In his book on primal leadership says,
Aparna, it's not.
They ignite our.
Was that audible?
No, the audio was there, but the video was
Audio
not.
was there, the video is not playing.
Aparna, you might want to minimize this window of the folder. Once you play it, just minimize this window.
Hi, Ian. Daniel Goleman, in his book on primal leadership says,
You can't see it.
Aparna,
it's not visible.
Inspire the best in us.
Got to minimize this window.
There is some of the background video which is happening. I think it's cycles.
No. You need to share the right screen Zoom.
Yeah, you need to share the entire screen. I think you have shared the window now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it clear now?
Yep.
Yes, Aparna.
Yes,
audio?
Aparna.
But the audio is not there.
Audio is not there.
It's there now.
It's coming, guys.
It's coming, guys.
Great leaders woo us. They ignite our passion and inspire the best in us. This is the greatest trait I've learned from you, Ian, and I thank you so much.
Hey, Ian. Pain is our greatest teacher. That's one learning I've taken from you after our pro-talk session. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Ian. You're an ocean of knowledge. One of the leadership traits I learned from you is grow self to make sure you are growing others as well. Thank you so much for you being part of our life. Thanks, Ian.
Leadership skills that I have practiced for years in my life is thinking positively and believing in yourself.
Aparna, I can give you a
From a
suggestion.
different perspective. Thank you, Ian, for bringing this transformation in my life. One leadership quality that I have picked up from you by watching you very closely is self-mastery and self-control. It's all in your mind and your body. Your self-mastery is a lesson for all of us. Kudos to you, man.
Hi, I always admire Ian for his intention to make others feel more powerful and to grow them to their true potential. Thanks, Ian. Thanks so much.
Positive thinking will let you see the ability you have, and that is awesome. But for me, Ian, you are the one who showed me the power of positivity, and my life has become awesome since then. Thank you so much for being there.
One leadership quality that I've learned from Ian is your observation is how to establish credibility of yourself as a leader through expertise in the area of your core competency. Thank you, Ian, for transforming so many of us, including you.
From Ian is how important a leader needs to have a larger than life persona. It cannot be faked or held on for a longer period of time. When observing Ian, I realized that is how he is, and that's what makes him superlative.
But Coach Ian is expert in reading people. He creates pride in the belly to be our best versions. Thank you, Ian.
Hi, Ian. If there is one quality that I want to pick up from you is to think and be like a visionary, like you. What a vision you have set for all of us to make India number one by creating leaders of stature. Thank you, Ian, and I look forward to being part of this journey.
So Ian, thanks for being there. I like the way you come across and give us some good feedback. I really love feedback. And what feedback does is it triggers internal dialogue and we change. And that's what we all need in life.
Thank you, everyone. John?
Thanks, thanks, Cobbs. Ian, you're there. I would like you to speak a few words, Ian.
Sure. I'm not sure whether I should enable video because some people will say I become fat and some people will say I become thin and all that. So
no screenshots.
Okay, so hey, John, thanks. This was a super session. Lots of innovation come into it. Yeah, I think a lot of the tenets have come into it. Even innovation, inspiration, everything has come in here. So some of the take-home values that I've got. Number one, of course, a lot of speakers are emerging. I've noticed even somebody like Anu spoke so well today. You know, you don't expect that high level of communication from Anu because she's reasonably new in Tilt and hasn't played much of a role earlier. Aparna has spoken, so you know, not much surprises when she does a super job. But people like Gomes really emerging from the shadows. I'm seeing Gomes for the second time now taking a major role and very nice. So pulling a lot of weight. Overall, I'm seeing a lot of improvement in Tilt, and so I have to call it out that, you know, Kavita's gambit, and it was a gambit. It was a high risk venture according to me, but she was so sure of doing it that I said, you know, I mean, it's worth taking a shot. Definitely worth taking a shot. And if you don't try something new, we never know where our limits are. So while I like this session on leadership, I'm thinking, you know, leadership cannot really be boxed. And I think Anjana said it well when she said, you know, a lot of times we are debating, is it this style or that style or that style? Just from a few lines on the case study, you really can't tell who's what kind of a leader. And I like the John's comment also of situational leadership. A leader cannot be one thing and continue to be that. A leader has to be different styles at different times. Like they say, horses for courses. You know, you have to be a different horse on a different course in order to win. So overall, it's just spurred the thought process of everyone. And since we're a leadership forum, this session made a lot of sense in terms of at least analyzing leadership styles. I think that was fabulous. So I also was part of the chat back end, you know, where all the talks were going on. And it's also interesting to see how the leaders, and some of them are not really playing leadership roles, but they're leaders in their own way, how they look at things. For instance, the analysis of how the presentations were done. I really feel, you know, we should keep one picture in mind: death by PowerPoint. Too much of information really kills the whole presentation. So we have to get into understanding what's the meaning of keywords and how to use them. So otherwise, a very strong medium could be, you know, it could be a distraction. So these are small things, but along the way, now as we rise up the ladder of leadership, I think we have to keep this in mind. As we grow in our stature, a lot more is expected of us. You know, when nobody knew Sachin Tendulkar, it's okay if he made some mistakes and slashing outside the off stump and other things. But once you reach a certain stature and you've scored a few hundreds, nobody's going to forgive you for slashing outside the off stump. You have to know which shot to play when. You can't even make a 1% error. So that's what I would like to leave you all with. While we have reached a good standard now of leadership, the question is what next? And the same question I'm asking also to GC leaders. You know, sometimes we tend to get complacent. We all done our good work and we sit on our laurels. But then everybody else is growing. Everybody else is now reaching a stature that we once reached. So here's a question for everyone. You know, it's not about how tall a leader you are at Tilt. I think every one of us should be evaluated every now and then. I'm open to the evaluation. I'm open to being evaluated. I have no problem with that at all. And I believe feedback is the breakfast of champions, and leaders should be the first to put that into practice. On the current Pro Talk, you know, group that I'm mentoring, facilitating, we are focusing a lot on the feedback, but also on participation. I'm not leaving anyone there. So let's see. I think Tilt has to relook at what is leadership and how we are going to impact India. If you're just going to be happy that we are all good and we are praising each other and, you know, praising each other's tails, I think that's a level we have reached. But, you know, I think we have to go beyond that. So overall, thank you for the fantastic presentation, and each of you have said so many nice things. But I think also the time has come. We talked about radical candor so much, but how open are we to radical candor? How open are we to listen to what's the truth? For instance, John sent me a screenshot yesterday and said, "Have you put on some weight?" He put it very nicely. I took that as very serious feedback, because I looked at the snapshots he took and I'm saying I'm actually looking fat, and the scale is saying I'm not put on weight. So should I argue about it? I said no, I'm looking fat. That's it. I better do something about it. So I started exercising a little bit more this morning. I said I need to do a 36-hour fast or maybe 48-hour fast to get some weight off. I think that's what a leader should do. Take the feedback in good spirit, act on it, and go to the next level. I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle for Tilt. We are not ready to take feedback. So I see tall leaders not taking feedback well enough, arguing about things. It's not a debate. Feedback is something which you give. In a leadership forum, that should be our bottom line. We should be able to take feedback. I'm open to feedback from anyone. Sometimes people feel I'm too directive, I'm too authoritarian. Okay, it's fine. Sometimes I have to be, but if I can justify it, fine. If I can't justify it, I have to learn. So I'm open to learning, but I really feel now we have reached a level, and thanks to Kavita, Sauresh, Pankaj for really taking on this mighty responsibility of seeing this last 10 days or 15 days through. I'm sure a ton of work has gone on behind the scenes. But the culmination today in the leadership styles, I think a lot has come through. I can do some reading between and beyond the lines. That's why I didn't participate in the breakout rooms. Let's see how we can go to the next level. So I thank all of you for your indulgence, and I'm looking forward to the next level for everyone. A small request I have before I close. Leadership is not about taking. I'm going to say that again very slowly. Leadership is not about taking. It's not about position. It's not about adulation. Leadership really is about what you can do and how much you can change the universe. And if we are not impactful leaders and we are not able to generate that, then really we are not pulling our own weight. So I'd like to leave you all with that thought, and I'm open to discussing that anytime or taking a challenge on that. Let's take it to the next level. So thanks, John. Thanks to the whole team. Alok and John, you've been outstanding, both you guys. Super leaders. My kudos to you, and thank you for all the validation. But more than the validation, I'd appreciate the feedback. See you all soon.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for those words of wisdom. There were a lot of insights, a lot of validation, and a lot of feedbacks. And also there is something as food for thought you gave us about, especially that word, what next, the question. And second thing is, leaders is not about taking. I think that was a very, very important word as a food for thought for each and every one of us leaders to think and reflect and move forward. Thank you so much, Ian. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, John. Before we could end this session, I would like to hand over the mic to Kavita, our most considerate person, most compassionate person, and our networking queen, Kavita Uchi.
Thank you so much, Gomes. I wanted to say thank you to John. John, you remember our first discussion when we said, why don't you do, I asked you, what has Team Inspire done in 6 months? Because, I haven't seen much. And the first thing he said was, what do you mean? I said, no, we haven't heard from you, John. So he said, no, we have 6 leadership styles that we have come up with. It's an original idea. And I would like to present it. So he said, I'll ask one member from each team to make a 1-minute video and we'll showcase it in WhatsApp. When he told me that, I said, there is no way that if you have come up with 6 styles of leadership, original thought cannot be just presented in a 1-minute video. So I said, I have a good idea. Will you listen to me? He said, of course. So I told him my idea. I said, I want your team and you to do a 1-hour session for Tilt on this as part of the finale. I could just see John's face. I think he got angry also. He's like, no, I can't do all these things. Don't put pressure on me. I can't do 1-hour session. You, eshtu kelsa korta idira nange agala no. He's like all like that. He literally was like, screaming. I've not seen John that way. I said, okay, John, you sleep on this idea. We'll talk tomorrow morning. You think about it. It's good branding for your team, for the work you have done for 6 months, good branding for you as leaders, you and Alok. Next day also he said, "Nan yochne marde that I thought about it. I can't do this. It's too much. I don't think I can do it." So we had a little more of a conversation and I told him what are the benefits, how he could do it. And it won't be so much work on just two people, but it's a team effort, participative leadership, right? So he agreed. And I think the moment he made up his mind, he started working on it with all of you. And today is a result of that. And John, I'm glad you took up the challenge and you did this. How do you feel, John?
Kavita, you already mentioned everything which I was supposed to actually mention. In fact, I mentioned with my team members about this whole scenario. And especially when you said instead of 1 hour, it's not 1 hour, you said 1.5 hours. Okay, yeah. That was quite big because we thought of small other activities indulging everybody. But then when you came out with the concept of telling me to conduct a session for the entire tribe, I think that point triggered in my mind. I thought I have done the 6 styles of leadership for my team for the last 2 months. So much of learnings I have provided them. Why can't I share a little bit of knowledge as a trainer? I have never been a trainer. I don't call myself a trainer, but I thought let me involve everybody and do an amazing session for the entire community. So that is it. I told Aparna and everybody that this is the this is the birth from Kavita's mind. So, and I thank you, Kavita, for pushing me. I always remember you pushing me to different extents. Whenever I said no, especially, you have pushed me. And I think, again, the result speaks. I'm very happy about my team and about the type of participation and Ian's words of wisdom in the end. That is something of great validation, actually. It is very motivating for us to move forward. Thanks, Kavita. Thank you so much.
I think 2 more people from your team want to speak. So Alok and Aparna. So who wants to go first?
Alok?
Yes, I shall go first. Hi, hello everyone. I think just to share a few token of gratitude about John, I think it has been a great session for me as a joint leader. As I mentioned last time when we shared best practices, me and John were on call like every day or say every other day, and at least 100 hours you have talked to me, you have guided me, you have told me. I always felt that whenever I'm in doubt, I'll just give him a call and the doubt will get cleared. But I think the most important thing which I would want to say is that John is a very nice and spiritual guy, but he can also be very directive. He can be very authoritative, and he's like he's like a teacher. That okay, no, Baba, you have to do it. If you don't do it, and he does it so subtly that you can't say no to him, and I'm not going to be spared. I have to do this by hook or by crook, but it needs to be done. And he does it so beautifully that you feel inspired and you feel motivated to do. And again, he's the sort of leader who says that you are the shepherd, as Pankaj mentioned last evening. So you are the shepherd, and we all are there as sheep, and we have to take everybody together. Team is as strong as its weakest member, so we can't leave anybody behind. We have to reach out to people. We have to do things. So there has been so many learnings, so many fine tunings, so many feedback. So I would just like to say I've evolved in 6 months. Much of the credit goes to John. Thank you, John, and thank you, Team Inspire, for participating in each and every activity. And we always felt that we are one, and whatever we do, when we do as a team, we will always succeed. And I think what happened today was the best example of how we have gone through the last 6 months. So thank you, John. Thank you, Team Inspire.
Wonderful. Aparna, quickly, because we are very, very short of time, I guess.
Sure, Kavita. From consistent Saturday weekly meetings on the book reviews to many, many leadership activities that we took on. Thank you, John and Alok, for supporting each of our initiatives. So with like an open heart, like and say like open mind, without even thinking twice if that activity would even yield something to meet the vision of the team. More often it did meet, and we've seen a lot of success stories, right from Gomes, who went on to inspire his entire team at workplace, to Anu, who inspired her son's art teacher to start the online classes, from Rupa, who nominated someone for an award and got the award herself because her manager felt she was worth the award rather than anyone else. So I think the list follows. So I thank each and every one of my team members, and to all of you, and most importantly, Kavita, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share this little bit of gratitude to John, Alok, and my entire team. So kudos to you, Team Inspire. Thank you so much. I love being part of this tenure of Team Inspire.
Thank you, Aparna. I've heard great things from John about you and how much effort you have put in the team. Every time I speak to him about the team, he talks about you. So you've done an amazing job. Thank you. Okay, last but not least, we have one more person who is John's, I can say, closest friend in Tilt. Besides fighting with me, this person has also fought with John also, I think, over the last few years. So Saikat, would you like to say a few words? I hope you're there. Yes, Saikat.
Yeah, I got you're making me a fighting guy now.
Arguments, okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very nice experience, and all the sessions that I could attend. I couldn't attend the last week; it was quite busy. But this week, all the sessions that happened, but have some stature and class. I think what most of you have said, and Ian is also saying. From John's standpoint, I've been an observer because Anu was practicing and they were doing sessions, and practice for it. I really saw a very different person in him from the point he has started with Tilt and he joined the first group LGT where we're together. So he has really changed himself in the way he sort of take forward the team, the way he looks into the thing. And I saw him, the way he was making the team, working with Alok or Gomes or Aparna, going through the presentation, the way it should come up, the content that should be put into it. It reminded me a very good corporate leader who would actually do a proposal and presentation and ensure that every piece of the proposal is intact. So John's hats off to you. I think the transition that you wanted to go through from where you started and what you want to pick up, I think it all has manifested, I would say, in a way you wanted to. So take a bow and move forward from here. I think now world is limit for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saikat.
Thank you, Saikat.
Okay, sorry, we've gone over, 25 minutes over, I think, but I think all of you have enjoyed it. Anybody else want to say a few words? You're welcome to. I think officially we are done with the session, right, John?
Yes, Kavita. We're done.
Yes, Kavita.
Yes, we can now.
Thank you one and all for listening to us. I mean, it's not officially, officially the meeting is over. If anybody else wants to talk, you can go on.
Any jokes, anything, now you can let out the steam.
Hi, Kavita.
John.
Mithila here.
Okay. Ian and John.
Ian was talking.
No, it was
No,
me.
that's
Okay,
Pankaj.
Okay.
Please don't mix up our voices.
No, the green color went to your box. That's why I thought it was.
Okay, Mridula, over to you.
It was a very energy-packed and knowledge-packed 2 weeks. And I can say that overwhelmed with all this abundance. I really want this to go on, but in a little bit slower pace, so that we'll get enough time to catch up the knowledge and digest it and implement it. So please consider my request. So we should have this kind of cross-pollination and sessions from each team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mridula. We will consider it, of course. Pankaj, you want to say something?
Yeah. So John, Alok, and the entire Inspire team, thank you so much. It was an amazing session. So many takeaways. I don't think so we can even write one LinkedIn post on it. Probably one LinkedIn post per leadership style will do.
Oh my God.
It was so good. Right. So thank you so much for all the key takeaways, for all the nuggets. But I have a question to my very old friend Naga. Naga, are you there?
Yeah, very much.
uh, okay, Naga, my question to you is: when you have an argument or a fight with your wife, which one of the leadership styles works? Can you throw some light on that, please?
Are you trying to find out an answer, Pankaj, through Naga?
Kind of.
Pankaj, that is
What are you
not
trying
Oh
to
what
do?
this
God,
time.
what a question here.
First of all, when you fight with your wife, be a follower, don't be a leader.
This looks like a much married guy.
Pankaj, that's a
It's a super
separate.
answer.
That's a different kind of leadership. That's called surrender.
Surrender. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Surrender leadership. Okay.
पंकज ज्यादा पिया तुमने.
No, I'm good.
I think that's a spirited question.
You guessed right.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You're bang on point here.
कुछ हो गया
Seriously.
था घर पे कुछ हो गया था इसलिए
लगता है.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm
spirited.
perfectly fine. We're all happy. Too much harmony is there.
Oh. How is everybody do?
She's not even looking at me. I'm okay.
And there is a fight, you have to follow servant leadership.
I think that is where the servant leadership has come from.
Yeah. Oh,
When you
so
have a fight with the wife, you become the servant.
servant. That was a good thought.
Hey, good job, yeah, all you guys.
Thank you,
John,
sir. Thank you so
superb,
much.
man. I don't know what all effort you put into getting this, but if you ask me, you pulled it off well. You definitely pulled it off well.
Yeah.
John, you owe me, John.
It's all the motivation, inspiration of everybody around, and leadership style. Of course, you are one of the greatest inspiration. I'm sure everybody will agree to me. So that is one of the that is one of the reasons why I brought up this study in this kind of a platform. And of course, Kavita being a pillar, a support, a catalyst, I call her. And almost all the leaders, everyone has been amazing, very inspiring actually. And as Team Inspired, you guys have always inspired us to do more. So I would like to thank each and every one of you and my team. And I take a bow down to you all. Thank you so much.
Super.
Great Friday night.
Maybe, leading off from this one, I don't know, I'm just suggesting something.
Yes, sir.
Maybe if you can analyze each of the leaders, because there have been so many leaders at Tilt, including like somebody like a Nila, who's been there, done that, but now we don't see much of her leadership. But Sam has been a leader, Saket has been a leader. Can we start to analyze their styles just as a matter of a case study? See, rather than take some case study, somebody was doing something with World Peace, somebody did something with Toyota. If you had given one or two styles of leadership in Tilt itself, or if you had at least made a bridge to it and said, John, this is his style of leadership. Pankaj, this is his style of leadership. Something like that would have been, I think the leaders would have taken it in good style, a good stead. I don't think they would have taken a miss at all. But at least it becomes relevant to all of us.
Yes.
So maybe that should be a spin-off from this one. From here, now what do we do?
Yeah, probably that is actually something for what next, as you asked. It's a beautiful thought you put into our minds. I think we are going to work on that. You will see the results.
Anyway, some discussions have to be had on this now. What is what next? I think we should have that discussion.
And Ian, also another point is, so for last 6 months, we have seen a drastic change in the way the world is looking at leadership, right?
That's right.
So that is important because, for example, I'm just thinking, right? I mean, a visionary leader, how important is visionary leadership style during pandemic?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you see, if you have to contain this in certain countries, some countries are able to do it, but some countries are not able to do it. So is there a problem in the leadership?
Yeah, no, I think if you look at intention behind leadership, I think a lot of issues get sorted. And, I think the most important, if you ask me what's the most important style of leadership, is this participative leadership. In fact, I'm giving a better term to it. I'm calling it collective leadership. A leader should now be a facilitator for leaders. You can't be directive leader in today's world. Cannot be. And therefore, I want all of you all to understand this. I scrapped my book, my first book on leadership, because I felt it has no value today after COVID. So I said right from the beginning, I started a new book now. I'm just about 25,000 words short of completion. But let me tell you, 5 days, if I sit on 5,000 words a day, I can close it out. But there's so much to learn, and there's so much of information coming out on the brain, on how it works. And if you ask me now, today leaders cannot manage without being psychologists. Cannot. I'm seeing so much of panic in the corporate world. They are firing people right, left, and center, not knowing what to do next. So in trying to survive and themselves, they are trying to fire some other people. If you ask me, 3/4 of our leaders at the top in this country should be fired, because their salaries are so high. You can put 10 leaders one level down from them on their salaries. CEOs are being paid such phenomenal salaries. Between you and me, a lot of leaders today are not even worth 1/10 of the salary they're being paid. But they're firing people 1/10 of their salary or doing more work with them. See, this is the tragedy. So let's see, next level now. I don't know how we are going to go at tilt. I'm just going to leave it to the top leaders and see how we can take it forward. But
And if I could add a little bit to what Ian you just said, I think the biggest lesson that John had given me in the last term was when he said, Pankaj, you need to remember that this is not a corporate structure. This tribe is not a corporate structure, and nobody is actually answerable to you. Absolutely no. You've got to take the people together, and that's where the directive leadership actually nullifies on its own. It's all about participative and collective leadership.
right.
So, but Ian, I think, I mean, it is situational, as you said, right? So
Yes.
there are situations where you may have to adapt to certain styles, like directive would be required in certain situations, right? When there is a chaos, I feel it is important for somebody to take that step and that style to ensure that that chaos is controlled.
Yeah, but that is once in a way, Sukesh. It cannot be all the time, because then people will leave. Especially millennials today, they don't wait. You talk rudely to them, once they walk out, they don't even resign. They don't come back. They change their number. What do you do?
Yeah.
And 2/3 of the workforce today are younger people. So there's a lot of change could happen. That's why I'm telling you, my whole book, the whole format has changed. It's a book world. Book. I'm telling you seriously. It cannot be compared to anything else in leadership. So that's what I'm saying. All these leadership styles are fine, just to understand there are different styles.
Yeah.
But let's not try to bucket it. I think as soon as we start to bucket it, we get lost.
Yeah. And you cannot bucket certain personalities into one bucket. For example, Aparna was talking about Disney as a, I think, participative. But I feel Disney was even visionary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Primarily visionary and creative, yeah.
So a small addition actually to what Ian said. So to you, Sukesh, or to the entire tribe, see these 6 styles of leadership. It is not that anybody is has to follow or anything of the sort. It's about self-reflection for whether which is the style where I am dominant, which is the style where I am less dominant. Try to balance that, and that is one thing. And then the other way of looking at in the corporate world is it a short-term leadership style or is it a long-term leadership style? So all these things are for us to analyze and then just to reflect. And as Ian said, it cannot be put into a bucket, into boxes over there and handled.
Yeah.
But even just this discussion is huge. We can openly discuss these things. We can talk, we can debate, we can argue. But the principle should be to learn.
Yes, sir.
It's not to dominate. It's not to force my point of view. I'm saying, you think that way. Why do you think that way? I like what Gomes said. He was asking, so why do you think like that? He didn't say it's a wrong answer. In his book, he knew it was the wrong answer because he had categorized them. You could make out what the styles of leadership were and how the categories were. But I think leaders have to get to this level now. They ask, why do you think like that? Why do you think this is better? So otherwise you become directive at that stage. You might see companies that close down. You take it from me. Companies like Nokia, they didn't listen to the market. They didn't listen to their own people. The guy who left Nokia joined Konica, and because of what he was saying, that this whole thing of Kodak, the guy who left Kodak and joined Konica, he's now they use that UV, which they wanted to keep the color of the photograph intact. They're using it as a UV for the face, and they're using it as a skin this thing. What is that? UV protection for skin. And today Konica makes chemicals for the face. They are a photography company. That is what I'm saying. We have to be very variable, and we have to be able to go with the times. Today VUCA is just a standard word. Everybody has to understand that we can't be one style or other style. But this is huge. I think this discussion itself is huge. Anyway, John, thank you so much. I think we are holding everyone back, and I really enjoyed this session. Particularly, I also enjoyed this session after the session. And I'm sure Pankaj is enjoying in his own way.
He is in his own world now. Hey, Pankaj, wake up, man.
I am wide awake, listening to everything. Wonderful discussion.
I know when you're listening and when you're not listening.
Thanks, Naga.
Oh my God.
Naga, one observation. When he's had too much to drink, he's asking about your wife. I'm wondering why.
God. This is something to laugh over.
Oh my God.
Good night, everyone.
Pankaj, you are banned from my street.
Hey, good. Thanks everyone. Thanks so much. Yeah, you guys are amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
I really love the openness and discussion and the fun.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a wonderful
Anu, well done.
Thank you, Jan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Wonderful discussion. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Combs,
everyone.
superstar.
Bye.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Kavi, I thought